Hello everyone, we are joined here by Pansy. Of course, I'm sure anyone watching Valorant at any point over the last 5 years has probably seen her on broadcast. So firstly, how are you doing today, Pansy?
I'm good. I'm finally over the jet lag and slight tiredness. So now I'm feeling pretty good. And it's been a great day of games already. So
I heard that you got in and immediately had to jump into a game.
It's been pretty quick. It's been pretty quick at times, but overall, yeah, it's been super good so far. I love being in Korea as well, so it always helps. The coffee's good, the people are good, and the food's great. So yeah, I'm super happy.
And how have the games been? You said they were great this year, so watching them so far,
It's a blessing and a curse, right? Because part of you, as a caster, you're like, 2 maps, go home, sleep, get rid of that jet lag, relax, maybe go get Korean barbecue, And then we've had absolute bangers, 3 maps, OTs, really close games. So we're not getting out of here when it's still daylight. You know what I mean? It's going late, but in a really good way. So it just means it's getting more and more competitive. I remember going back to the early days of GC, and it was very one-sided with certain top-end teams. Now it feels like the gap's closing a lot. It's getting a lot more competitive in that mid-pack, and even towards the top end, especially like the Shopify game going right now, right? So yeah, the gap between is getting much tighter. So yeah, the games are getting much closer.
As somebody who works not just Game Changers EMEA, but also works on all of these international events, you talked about the gap closing and everything. So what would you say about the competitive standard of this year's teams compared to last year's?
I think you only have to look at someone like Shopify Rebellion and seeing what they're doing outside of GC to kind of get the marker of it. They're already in towards challenges. They're pushing some great teams. They're an incredibly competitive side, and I think seeing other teams keeping up close to them, kind of you get a little bit of a marker of where these teams are, and they're getting better and better, right? They're getting closer and closer. They're within touching distance now, some of these teams. So yeah, they're very good, and they're only getting stronger. I think there's a marked improvement that's very easy to see with Shopify because they're quite an obvious team to follow, but the other teams are keeping up as well. They're getting pushed as we speak to a third map. It's one of those that it shows the scene's really improving.
And talking about you in particular, you've been around the block. You worked on Counter-Strike, and you're probably, well, at least in my opinion, you're the best caster that Valorant has. I have a little bit of bias, but
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, what does an average day for you look like when you're working?
Okay, average day. We can go through kind of today so far. Get up. At the moment, it's a bit weird because jet lag a little bit, absolutely. So that kind of adds in a couple of hours being pushed to the other side. But also my call time at the moment is about 3 to 4 in the afternoon because we're on the second game. So you want to try and sleep as late as possible, basically, because some of these games are going super late. So you want to try and get that amount of sleep. So wake up, instantly. It's coffee. It's coffee. Get caffeinated. You know what I mean? Got to be done. Try and write down a couple of narrative notes because I feel like that's a nice time to do it. You're still fresh in the mind of yesterday's games or what you've got coming up today. So write down a couple of notes about some of the storylines I like to talk about when we get to the game series. Shower. Actually, I've got a bath in my hotel, which has been so nice.
I went cold.
Yeah. Really nice hot bath. That has been incredible. And then eventually more coffee on the way to the studio. Then sit down with Potter and we kind of talk through what our talking points are for the game coming up. Oh, is it you more interested in the map veto? Oh, what do you think about them running this agent? How do you think about this player? How's that head-to-head looking? So we'll bullet point out 5 or 6 points. Have a chat to production, make sure they're all good to go, make sure everything's sorted, and then actually do the job. So that's kind of the schedule at the moment. And then obviously we go get a convenience store beer or some sort of food afterwards. But yeah, that's kind of it at the moment. But it's been really nice actually working with this team. It feels a bit different. It always does at Game Changers because we get Potter, right? Which we're normally not allowed, but I love getting Christine. She's one of my favourite people to cast with actually, and it's a rare treat. So always nice to have her here.
Do you prefer Pan Pop or Pots and Pans?
Oh, I can't answer that. That's crazy. They both have an incredibly unique aspect to them, and I love working with Potter because I've known her for it must be 15 years now. But obviously, Hypok is my main duo, my one and only. But Christine's my little bit on the side. You know what I mean? I'm stepping out on my work husband. I go and see Christine.
It must be nice to have Hypok back this year after a long hiatus and stuff. It was really nice to catch you guys on EMEA again.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. He was sorely missed, and he's quite literally impossible to replace. As much as I joke about Christine, he is super talented and probably one of my best friends that I get to work with. So it's a joy to work with him. So I'm glad he's back.
I don't know if anyone's asked you this in an intro before, but how did you guid start dueling together?
Funny enough, it was through our agency. He was with the same talent agency as me, but we both worked in PUBG. We both did it. Like, he was more North America because he used to be a professional PUBG player. Then went on to the analyst desks. And when Valorant first came out, he started making more like sort of YouTube content and live streams about it. He was grinding as well. I mean, he was living his life in solo queue. And my agents were like, oh well, Valorant's coming in, because I casted with Golden Boy, Puckett, just about anyone who was around at the time. And they're like, well, how about Hypoc? And I'm like, maybe we can give it a try. Not sure, because I hadn't worked with him in PUBG. I knew about him, but we never worked together. We both had separate things. And from the very word go, I was like, okay, this makes sense. So yeah, that was kind of the start of it.
What do you look for like in a duo? Like what makes a duo like really stand out to you when you're casting with them?
It's humor is always the main thing. I think for me is having a blend of personality that you can deal with, because you end up talking to them for potentially up to 6-7 hours. If you're in a best of 5, it goes the distance. You're there just talking as humans. As much as you have the game, you still have to convey some sort of back and forth, and I think that's what makes some of the best duos really, 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 really good, is that they can actually get on well as humans and they have a good rapport. So I've been lucky getting Mike, and the same with Christine. I mean, she's always a pleasure. She's too talented to be a coach, is what I'm saying. But I don't blame her. She's doing quite well at that job, so that's fair. But no, it's I see it in a lot of the great duos. Brennan and Sideshow, they're good friends, good humour together. I mean, you go back throughout time. It's always there. It's always a key aspect of it. So I'd say that certainly helps.
Mm-hmm. And I know you get a lot of praise, but I'm pretty sure like sometimes online I see you responding to Twitter trolls and stuff. So I mean, I know you do a pretty good job of dealing with it, but when you read those kind of hate comments, like what goes through your mind?
It's weird these days. I'm old and jaded, so I don't care as much. It's if someone's actually creative enough to say something I haven't heard before, that's when I'm like, damn, you actually got me on that. Man, that's crazy. But I also don't get it like I used to. I mean, Counter-Strike was a very different time. The internet has really changed. Like, don't get me wrong. There will be people occasionally be like, oh, you're biased. That is such a minuscule thing. I don't mind it. Because it only comes from a fan who's upset that their team's lost and they are annoyed that I've praised the other team. So they see it as bias. Whereas if you're a neutral party, whoever wins deserves the praise. Whoever loses, you go back, you try harder, you come back, right? That's just the natural order of things. So I understand from a real fan perspective how, if they listen to like co-streamers who only talk positively about their favorite team, that's what they want to hear. And I get that. So when they hear someone who's technically neutral, they'll think, oh, they're being against my team. They're not praising them like this does, or how I see it. Oh, it was only unlucky they lost. So I understand why some fans who are maybe either new to sport, new to esports, they see it like that. So I don't really care so much. It doesn't really affect me. And honestly, everything else, normally it's fucking weak. Excuse the swearing, but
no, please, you can swear. This is VCT.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, I literally was a professional Call of Duty player. I've been on the internet since I was too young to be on it. Like, the insults are boring. Like, you got to come up with something kind of good these days to actually get me a little riled. And to be fair, once in a while, someone will say something. I'm like, you tilted me. Yeah, you got me. I can't look at it because it's going to annoy me. So I'm just going to go for a walk. But it's rare these days that it actually annoys me.
Mm-hmm. And since you've been here from the beginning, like, how do you feel about the evolution of the Valorant meta?
Holy, would you in game the sort of meta?
That's like agents, maps, the changes. Start with the most recent one if you want.
Yeah, I'm catching up to it as well. If we're talking about the most recent changes, I think I obviously kind of tail ended at champs, right? And then all the changes started to hit. Did Ascension as well. They weren't fully applied to that, but coming into this, seeing the kind of agent changes coming through and how the meta's shuffled, it certainly so far. It kind of gives you a nice glance into what next year could like with the tier 1 teams, how they might approach it with the different looks, and even Christine kind of theory crafting it as well, because it's quite nice to see teams playing on the new maps, playing on the new patches, and seeing what you can maybe extrapolate from that, and bring it into next year. And I'm sure that's going through her head, and it's certainly in mine. So I think it's just been nice seeing how the game's changed so far and how different it's looked year by year, and there's still that excitement baseline to it that it's never completely tilted over too far, so you can still get that same sort of tactile enjoyment out of it. So yeah, I've always enjoyed watching the evolution.
What was your favorite meta? Like, which was your favorite tournament to cast champs or?
Oh, that's actually a hard question. What would be the favorite meta? I just say whenever EG wins anything, which is rare. So that time, I don't think it was really meta dependent either at that point. So that was champs LA, but I don't know. I mean, I actually quite like the chamber meta for a while because it was flashy. Like, I think coming from like Counter-Strike and other games like that, where it's nice to see like an operator or an AWP like pop off, right? It's just like visually exciting. I'll still take that. I'll still take like a chamber meta. I find them fun. Did I like yours? No, I'll go for chamber. I'll go for that like little chamber. I'll go for a little chamber moment. That was pretty solid.
That's I mean, it was pretty fun to watch. I don't know if it was fun to play, but
it was
definitely
that's pretty
fun to
awful. But I'm not petty. I'm playing it. I'm getting paid to watch it and yell. So that always helped me out. So yeah.
Did you, out of curiosity, do you always want to be like a shoutcaster, or did you just kind of like? Because I remember you said you were a player.
Yeah, I played at the time. I didn't. Shoutcasting wasn't a career at all when I really started. Right, there was a couple of like one or two people at most globally who ever made anything close to a financial income from it at that time. So it was never like an option in my head. It was something that I slowly stumbled into, and I think was too stupid to walk away from when I probably should have. So no, I think out of just sheer stubbornness, I stuck with it, and I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, it is my dream job. But no, I used to work in legislation, in roadworks. I used to work for the local government. It was very, very boring, and doing like data input and just the usual kind of standard jobs because you had to pay bills. And yeah, I just loved esports. So I'm lucky that it was eventually a path that was available, and yeah, just kept stumbling back into it.
So what would you say? Because I know there's a lot of people who look up to you and who are looking to work in esports and stuff. And of course, with the market, it's very difficult to consistently make an income, like you said. So what would be like your advice to aspiring folks?
Work harder than me. That's I know it sounds silly, right? But I'm old. I'm 35, right? If you're a 21-year-old, either you're still in uni, coming out of uni, whatever it is, co-stream everything you can, make more content, make more shorts, sit there and VOD review everything you do, try and do player interviews, try and do, find a way in. You can be your own agent in a way at this day and age. You can make your own channels, you can make your own YouTube, you can kind of push your own content. And if you find something you're good at and you're willing to work on your craft, you can. And it may take a long time. It may not be instantaneous. I get that. But the roads are there for you. So push. Be consistent. Like, again, it's like if you go up to any big streamer, for example, how did they get it right? It's merely consistency and a bit of luck. And it's somewhat the same thing in casting. You can improve. You can work at it. You can try and build your craft further. And I think you have to be willing to do more and outwork people who hold the positions. And I don't think it's impossible. I think it's hard. And I don't think it's always fair. That's always the tough part. It's like, technically you could probably outwork me. You could probably outwork half of the talent. But would someone notice it that first time? Probably not. So it's that willingness to continue to do it again and again until maybe someone notices. Maybe the audience notices. Maybe you build a community who's loves your work and it starts popping up on the subreddit, and then maybe Riot see that, and then maybe think, oh, maybe try them out on like tier 2, tier 3, and then you get that slow build up, right? The avenues are there. I think you have to be very self-motivated and be really willing to push for it.
Mm-hmm. And talking about self-improvement, I mean, like, there's always like a lot changing, like you mentioned. Yeah. So how do you keep yourself like constantly improving, or what's your process for VOD reviews? Do you have like anything in particular you do?
I'm just deranged at this point. Like I get so annoyed if like, it's not annoyance, it's drive, right? It's the same as why you as a player you want to be better. Even if you're winning, you still know that there's more to give, right? There's always that X percentile that you can do a little bit better in. So I think mentally for me, there's, if I ever think I've hit, a good marker that I've plateaued, that I probably should start walking away, because you lose a bit of that drive. So I think for me, it's just the continuation to chase being whatever the best is, right? Whatever that definition is. And that kind of keeps me going. And I'll VOD review, I'll sit there. I mean, I have 1,000,001 methods that I'll go to that help me at least. And it doesn't always work for other people, right? Like I know some of the Counter-Strike guys completely just turn up on the day, no notes, no nothing, and that's how they feel the best. That's how they feel natural about it. They're confident in their work because they don't want to over-prep. Whereas some of the other CS casters, for example, they'll be practicing their winning lines in the hotel room, and everyone can hear it through the door, or they write notes. I'm a note taker. I love doing my little notes at the start of the day. I give myself some backup words. I'll do a VOD review. I'll figure stuff out. So I'm never left lost on the spot. But it's each their own, right? So it's like you got to find out what works for you, and it's trial and error.
Out of curiosity, that line when you said there's a new king of hell. Did you come up with that on the fly, or was that like?
Because again, when Ye got his nickname, you always want to play around with it, right? It makes it easy. And then in my head, there's obviously all the lines with Ye that exist. And then with Demon 1, I'm like, oh, that's a nice little, like, something I could work on there. So it was always like the thought of it. I think I came up with it that morning. Like a little, like, I'd written a couple of different iterations of it, and I'm like, if it works, cool. If nothing happens, whatever, I'll bin it. But there's been a lot of those lines that never get used. And the moment never comes around. So I think also a lot of casters fall into the trap of wanting to crowbar one in, like make sure everything's this super, punchy big moment, and not everything always is. And if you're constantly sending these sound bites, people are like, okay, dude, it was like 2 kills, like calm down a little bit. So it's like you got to find the moment, and that's when you can actually go for it on it. So yeah, I was lucky on that one. It was just stars aligning, but yeah, it was semi pre-planned, but it took something happening for it to.
That insane round from Demon 1, yeah.
That certainly helps. He had a tournament, man. He had a tournament.
Ice cold.
Yeah.
And last question. Favorite team, favorite player?
In general or here?
Both.
Okay, so both. Here, let's start there. Shopify, obviously, always super biased, and I'll go for Mel, just because I watched her struggle in like Elden Ring. So.
Fun fact: Mel said that if she gets a VCT offer from any team, she will take it like anywhere in the world. She'll move for it. So I'm kind of hoping steal her.
Yeah, bring her over to EMEA. And generally speaking, it's hard because it's going to be EG as a team.
Which iteration though? That's what
yeah, I mean that's the problem, right? That's the issue, right? And do you know what my low-key pick would have been back in the day? Derek. I love Derek. I thought he was damn good, but it's what it is, So we'll see how the new roster looks. If Christine's actually cooked something good up. Mm-hmm. If she's failed parlously, it's over. No more casting together.
I'm hoping this year they look good. I mean, they got comeback, so
they got a good roster. They got a good roster. All right, she can't fail now, right?
I'm hoping this is the year that EG makes their comeback. Who do you think is winning this event? Last question.
They could be losing right now, Shopify, but I'm saying they're winning it. I'm backing them.
3 in a row.
100%.
Awesome.
Easy, light work.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pansy. It was great to have you.
Thank you.